What's up, guys? Stas here. So a pretty mixed bag out there today in the stock market. The S&P 500 down 0.8%, down $25. The Dow Jones down $300, 1.1% in the red. And the Nasdaq somehow did well, up 0.66%, $65 in the green. And would you take a look at that? $10,000 on the Nasdaq broke, which is absolutely incredible. And in this video, we're going to talk more about the markets, breaking down some technicals, and I also want to go over whether or not the markets in general are getting ready for a dip right now. And I also want to talk about 7 stocks that I'm looking to buy right now, that I'm looking to trade, as well as what I've been doing in the market as of late when it comes down to swing trading, day trading, options trading, everything, right? So if you guys enjoyed the video, as always, hit that like button, consider subscribing to the channel, and feel free to join our Discord chat and Facebook group, link down below in the description, free of charge to join. And you can also get 2 free stocks from Webull valued up to $1,400 with a deposit of $100 into the account. That's also linked down below in the description. So let's kick off this video starting off with the S&P 500 as always. And like I said, it was down 25 points today, down 0.8%. And as we can see, we actually closed below a pretty critical level of resistance, and that resistance is right around 3210, right? This is a point where the S&P has struggled over the past couple of days of trading, on the 5th of this month and the 8th of this month in particular, right? You guys can see on those 2 days, we were struggling at that level. And this morning, quite honestly, we were struggling, but ultimately we broke out and we double topped and we closed on a downswing. And the truth is, guys, despite us closing below 3210, the uptrend over the past 3 days of trading is there, right? We're at a higher low from the previous couple here, which is good, but we haven't quite yet hit the higher highs. So for tomorrow, and quite honestly, for the rest of this week, if we're taking a look at small time frames here, I want to see the S&P hold this trend, the one that I just drew, right around 3,200. If it breaks this, right, watch out below, because if we pull back a bit, this is where we might get the pull down if we break that smaller time frame trend, right? Let's say we break 3,200 into the 3,100 level. We might pull down the first target, I'm thinking, on the S&P right around 3,165, right? That would put us at the 50 SMA on this hourly chart. So watch this level for a potential pull down. And pulling back to, let's say, the 4-hour chart, you guys can see, yeah, 3,165. If we break that, we might be going down even further, with another major support being around 3,120. And we've talked about on this channel, guys, that the S&P in general, and quite frankly, the whole, all the indexes, Dow, S&P, Russell, Nasdaq, they're all overbought. If we're taking a look at the RSI, with today's pull down, the S&P is still overbought, right? It went from an 80 RSI down to about a 73 RSI. So for me, guys, I think a healthy spot would be, again, about 3,120 on the S&P, and maybe 3,050. That'd be even better, and that would bring the RSI down into the 40s, the 50s, and we could definitely get a lot of dip buy opportunities at that point for the S&P, at least in my personal opinion, right? So watch these levels, and hey, I could be completely wrong, right? With today's little red day, this could be all the S&P needs to fling right back up into the mid 3,200s. So on that scenario, I'm going to be watching 3,230, right? If we break 3,230 tomorrow, and honestly, 3,220 first, if we break 3,220, we're most likely going to 3,230. And remember, an uptrend is indicated by a higher low followed by higher highs. Remember, we already hit the higher low, and that would be our pursuit to the next higher high, which would be great. And at that point, again, we might be in the mid 3,200s, and heck, maybe even the 3,300s, guys. And we know all-time high on the S&P is just a tad below 3,400. So watch those levels there. The Dow Jones got hit the hardest today, and quite honestly, guys, a support I'm looking at is going to be 27,000, right? That's right here, this trend line indicated here on the 4-hour chart. And zooming in a bit more, more, let's say on the 5-day, 5-minute, if we break this trend that I just drew, right, kind of similar to the trend on the S&P on the 5-day, 5-minute, if we break this, watch for the fill down 1% to 27,000. I have no doubt in my mind if we break this, there's a high chance it goes to 27K. And overall, 27K is not even the healthiest pull down for the Dow. In my opinion, we need to shave another 1,000 points, and that would put us down to about 26,000 bucks. And at that point, hey, that could be an opportunity for the dip on the Dow Jones, just based on the technicals that I'm seeing here. And the Nasdaq, again, guys, 10,000 bucks. We called this last week, the week before. I was saying, yeah, Nasdaq very likely to hit a 10,000 level, and the Nasdaq 10,000 is like a milestone, and it's kind of like similar to a 30,000 Dow Jones. That's kind of, in the same ballpark, right? So at this point, 97.30 was the all-time high back in, February of 2020, a couple months ago. So for this to pull down and find some support at 9,700, 9,600, that would be very healthy, in my opinion. That's kind of what I'm looking for. And when we look at resistances on the Nasdaq, they're not there because we're at all-time highs, guys, and you have to realize if a stock ETF index is at an all-time high, there's really nothing above it to look at as a resistance. So for me, I want to see a cool-off here in the Nasdaq, and of course, the Nasdaq's up because big tech is crushing it. Apple, guys, today up $10, up 3.16%. It hit an all-time high at $345. Amazon hit an all-time high at $2,600 today. Facebook up $7 today. It did not hit an all-time high, but it's pretty dang close, right? So these tech stocks, guys, they're going crazy. And as always, I'd love to know your thoughts down below in the comments. Do you think the market will continue pushing? What are your thoughts on tech stocks, the Nasdaq, my dip buy theory, right? If we see a pull in the technicals, on the S&P, those different price targets I talked about. What are your thoughts? Let me know down below in the comment section. Now, for me, I did a lot today when it comes to my trading. The first move I made was I sold out of NEO. You guys have been following the channel. I actually bought into NEO on Friday. I bought in at $5.77, and this stock completely exploded, right? This went really according to plan. I bought on this dip. I believe this was on Friday here. I bought at $5.77 with hopes of selling it on the breakout above $6 to $6.20, right? So we got exactly that today. We got the break above $6.20, $6.15, $6.10. We got the pull down, and this thing erupted all the way to $6.80. And let me tell you guys one thing, and you guys know this from following me for a while. Timing the top on trades, it's pretty impossible. Not that it never happens. It happens sometimes, but it doesn't happen as much as, you're selling and then it rallies up even more, right? But today, I actually timed the top pretty well. No joke, I sold out of NEO at $6.80, and that makes this trade one of my biggest, it's definitely my biggest winner for this month. In June, and it might be one of my biggest winners in recent months, because if we're taking a look just at percentage-wise, and I'm talking percentage winner here, from 577 up to 680 where I sold, that was a nice 15 to 16% move roughly, and me trying to lock in about 2 to 5% on my swing trades, that's the goal a lot of the time. 15% locked in is obviously incredible, so I locked in there on NEO. I actually day traded Beyond Meat today as well. And by the way, guys, I called all of these out in the Discord chat, so join that. Again, link down below in the description. And I also try and call these out on Instagram, so if you're not following me on Instagram, I call a lot of these stocks out on the stories throughout the day. Go follow me. It's at StasserFest, literally just my name, StasserFest. You can go follow me on there. And I called Beyond Meat out at about $150, and for me, guys, I talked about it yesterday. I'm looking to get into Beyond Meat. They got this distribution deal with China. Big deal. It shot the stock up 20%. And I was talking about how I'm looking to get in on the dip. And we got the dip today to 148. I did not time the bottom, but I did get in at $152.20. And I ended up day trading it up to about exactly $156. I'm reading my notes here, guys, and 75 cents. So that was another move I made today, roughly 4 to 5% there. That was a solid one. And I actually am still holding my MasterCard shares. If you guys don't recall, I bought those yesterday at $308.75. So those are up pretty decently today, up about a percentage or two. More like 1%. And another swing I ended up opening up, and again, today was a pretty active day for me. I ended up buying some Slack Technologies, work, ticker symbol WORK, more towards the end of the day, and I picked up some shares at $31.14, and I actually plan on swing trading these for a couple days here. And Slack in general, guys, you can see it took a cliff dive from $40 down to $30. And they actually beat on earnings. They had an EPS of negative 2 cents, so they lost 2 cents, but the analysts were expecting a loss of 6 cents, so they actually beat there. And revenue also beat. It came in at $201 million versus the $187 million. And we also got some good news about the company. More than 90,000 people started using Slack in the first quarter, which represents a level growth that is greater than all of 2019. The company also recorded 12,000 net new customers versus 5,000 in each of the prior 2 quarters. And guys, this is kind of obviously because of what's going on right now, the user growth, which is why the stock's been doing very well because of the whole CV. So once things get back to normal, this might mellow out a bit. That's kind of one theory. And why the stock sold off in general is because, like many companies, they cut their guidance for the rest of the year, right? That's one theory as well for why the stock, ended up falling. They actually cut their full year guidance for calculated billings. And for me, guys, I think that's a bit of an overreaction here in the stock from about $41 down to $31. That opened up 23%. So for me, the way it's looking, again, I'm in at about $31.15 here. The way that it's been holding support at $31 over the past 3 days of trading, that's very good. So I'll add more to the position once we get the confirmation that it's breaking up here. Let's say it gaps up tomorrow. That would be fantastic. That's what I'm looking at. That's where I'd add more, probably around $32, $33. We'll end up seeing what's happening. But overall, that is what I'm involved with right now. I have my hands in a lot of different trades. I'm also in Virgin Galactic call options. I'm in shares for Virgin Galactic as well. So a lot of swings opened, but I still have a lot of cash on the sidelines. I'm not being as aggressive as I normally am. Again, because if the markets do pull down, I also want to have cash to buy more on the dip. But it doesn't mean that I'm not going to be on offense now that the markets are pushing up. I'm still looking to swing trade, be on offense, but being with, playing defense, having that cash ready to go is also very important as well. So let's get into these 7 stocks, guys, 7 additional stocks to the ones that we just talked about. The first one here, very strong day for Advanced Micro Devices. This is ticker symbol AMD. You guys can see, if you've never seen a short squeeze, this is what it looks like. And pretty much what that is when shorts are covering their positions, the stock just ends up flying, right? Look up short squeeze on Google. You'll get a gist of what that means, right? And it typically looks like this. And it always sends stocks up a lot. If it's a penny stock, it might be a lot, more than, a larger cap stock. But normally, this is what a short squeeze looks like. And we're seeing a pop on AMD. We saw a pop of about 4% here from 52 up to about $55. And you notice on this 4-hour chart, AMD has finally broken above a resistance. If this thing decides to load, you can see it broke above $55. This has been a zone in the past. of selling pressure. Typically when AMD has been reaching 55, 56, it's sold off. So at this point, am I completely sold on buying AMD for the rally up to, let's say, $60? Not quite yet, because again, we're reaching 56, which has also been a resistance, 56, 56, 50. So for me, I'd like to see some sort of a cool off here, maybe a support at about 55, then a slow rally up to 56. And ultimately, I'm going to set an alert on AMD, let's just say at about $57. Let's do that. Create alert. Let's see. Mark is at or above $57. There we go. So if this thing ends up gapping above there, I am looking to take advantage. And it's looking good overall, guys, that, we're finally seeing some upwards direction in the stock. And quite honestly, this stock's been quiet over the past couple of weeks. And it could be waking up here for another rally. And another one that has been quiet and slowly waking up here, it seems like, is Netflix. And let me give you a caution here, guys. Be cautious about Netflix, because although we are holding 420 as a support, we're breaking moving averages here, which is a pretty good sign, right? $430. We broke that moving average, the 180 SMA. One thing that could end up happening here is we get rejected at 430, 440, and we start making the right shoulder of this head and shoulder pattern. If you guys don't know what that is, right? Notice how Netflix, you have the left shoulder here, the head, right? If you guys don't know, it's literally a person, right? Imagine a person, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. You have the left shoulder here, the head, and now the right shoulder could be forming, which means, okay, if we see resistance at 440, we start to dump, that's going to be a bearish pattern, right? So for me to get into Netflix, I need to see confirmation that we're getting out of 440, quite honestly, guys. So for me, 440 needs to break, and from there we can fill up to 460, because if 440 breaks, that means the right shoulder is not forming, right? That means that's a breakout pattern. More momentum could come in, which again could push the stock up, which has been cooling off. It's been quiet, right? It could push the stock out of 460 and heck, maybe even a 470, 480. So watch Netflix here. Another one that's been cooling off a bit is Boeing, ticker symbol BA, down 6% today. It hit $240 in the past couple of days here, which is unbelievable. And President Trump, we all know, and a lot of companies out there, he's been saying we're not letting Boeing go bust. There's no way. They're too important of a company. They have a massive workforce. They're innovators, right? There's no way we're going to let Boeing go bust. And this means that they're going to print as much money for them, give them as many loans as possible to keep them afloat. And looking at the stock, that's good for the stock, right? And that's why we've been seeing such a massive recovery over the past couple of weeks in the stock. And I've been calling for a pull down, and it seems like we're getting it. And overall, a healthy one would be down to the 180s, but I don't know if we'll get it, guys. So I'm going to be a bit more realistic, maybe $200 for a pull down, maybe 205. That's kind of where I'm looking here for Boeing. But ultimately, any pull down, any bigger pull down here, I'm looking to get into this stock as a swing trade. Long-term investing, I actually cut it out of my portfolio because I have a dividend portfolio where I owned Boeing, and for that portfolio, I have a rule that if a company cuts its dividend, I'm kicking it out, right, of the portfolio. But if we're looking at trading at, just trading stocks, swing trading, I think there's momentum here. So I'm looking at Boeing, ticker symbol BA. Another one that's cooling off that also has a lot of momentum here is American Airlines. And mind you guys, these airlines, they've been crushed arguably the most out of any stocks out there. And now we're getting positive news out of these airlines that they're increasing their flight schedules domestically mostly over the next couple of months heading into the summer here in the U.S. And ever since AAL got that catalyst, and quite honestly, a lot of the companies, airlines, stocks did very well. Ever since that catalyst came out, this stock's gone berserk. It was up $40 one day, and it hit a peak at, or 40% rather, one day, and it hit a peak at $23, and now we've seen a retracement of about 20% from there. So at this point, look at about $16.50 $17 and maybe $17.50, that general $1 to $1.50 area. Watch that point as a support, right? If we find some sort of support here, there could be another rally in store for AAL, especially heading into these summer months, and especially if we get an even bigger schedule increase with more flights added, let's say in the September, October months, if you're looking more as a longer term swing trade, right? So AAL, I think it's pretty solid here. CCL, Carnival Cruise Line, is another one that's pulling down a bit. Hit a peak at about $27. That's unbelievable, guys. And if you guys were following my channel a couple of weeks ago, it's funny. I had $4 call put options on CCL, and now looking back on that, I'm like, oh my goodness. I mean, I sold out. I lost a lot of money on those, but looking back, I was just full on. CCL is going bankrupt, and now, looking back, it was a bad move, right? But either way, it's at $22 right now, $23. This is a support here, no doubt about it. If it holds, watch for the rally back up to the 27s, right? But you can also see, okay, if we break 22, let's say the market's pulled down, airline stocks, cruise line stocks will most likely drop as well if the S&P drops aggressively the next couple of days, we might see a pull down to 1850 on the CCL stock, which could be even better, right? Putting us right at that 50 SMA on the 4-hour chart. So watch CCL, Carnival Cruise Line. And another one that's breaking up here out of a major resistance is Electronic Arts, EA, right? And this is one that we had on our radar about 2 weeks ago. I traded it. I lost money, I believe, on one of those trades. And now we're finally showing some more momentum, right? We met that 180 SMA, high or low, as a support here on the 4-hour chart. Fantastic, right? Fantastic hold at about $115. That is very critical. And now we also broke out of $119 to $120, closing up 1.3% today, which is great because that was an old resistance stemming back from about a year ago. If you guys can see here on the 3-year chart, you can see, about $120 was a resistance from back in actually 2017. That's crazy, guys. And back in 2018. So watch out for Electronic Arts. The price target I have right now in the short term is going to be high 120s to $130, right, based on these technicals. And I really believe as a swing trade, that is very possible. And the last one here, not a stock, it's an ETF. It's GDX, guys. This is a gold miners ETF, and like I talk about all the time on the channel, it's important to have a hedge, right? And a GDX is a hedge, in my opinion, when it comes to the overall markets because it trades based on gold, right? And if the markets pull down, a lot of the time gold is up. These minor stocks do well in that situation, right? So I'm looking at this one on this dip. It's hit a peak at 37.50, down, it's down to 33. That opened up about 11-12% potential. Here on the 3-year chart, you guys can see a green candlestick is forming at a higher low. That is a good sign. But if we zoom in a bit here on GDX, let's say on this 30-day chart, you can also see a head and shoulders pattern forming. And on the 4-hour chart, you can see it even better. So for me, I need to see a full breakout of $34, quite honestly. That would tell me, okay, this the downtrend in the short term is breaking, right? If we got that, if you can see this line that I'm about to draw, if we break this point, right, out of that 50 SMA as well, and let's say into 34, 35, that could be the breakout territory for where, okay, GDX might go from 35 back up to about 38. And we all know gold is still holding 1700, 1695, which is a fantastic level of support. So overall, guys, that is it for this video. Those are 7 stocks that I'm looking to buy, and you all know I could go on forever talking about this stuff. There's so many more that we could talk about, but I don't want the videos to be too long, guys. But if you did enjoy it, as always, hit that like button for me. Consider subscribing to the channel, and don't forget to claim your 2 free stocks from Webull, valued up to $1,400. And remember, all you have to do is put in $100 into the account, and that's how you get the 2 free stocks, and that's linked down below in the description box. So I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks again for watching. As always, stay safe out there, guys. Peace out. What's up, guys? Stas